Oro for mesase mo nyina akwa ba de ba Ghanatube mo se Ghanatube de information nyan land ya na chese yeso ye de brem se munya aso na muntie na mu hu ade ekoso e wo man Ghana modofo sisi an John Dramani Mahama na memu no ekoso 1 year nyanso ye odofo sisi an amanfo astarte se omu reti no ye reti ne dendenden sisi an ye se John Dramani Mahama ne performance no a dropping from 73% to 67%. Anyame na make count information kasi ababeland no ye say John Dramani Mahama na memu no 1 year mpo nyanso ye no ye say the performance no a dropping from 73% to 67%. Enti wa hwa John Dramani Mahama and NDC amemu no I was say omo Kenya omo ho se na be ya Ghana fo bekoso enye omo awrehyimu kese se na be ya nyame ya adoma 2028 no Ghana fo betumi akoso ato aba ade amomorofo Ghana fo bebre na na mokase John Dramani Mahama o se oye world because amemo no air drop it see anu see the no value no air bafom as against the dollar it bebre na o mabemu ebu e wo John Dramani Mahama ni NDC for memorofo muma yanko na yanko tin sema ekoso concerning John Dramani Mahama na memu a drop from 73% to 67% obi aka wansema me so bi nyina brew e wo Ghanatube for manko ya kwaji sansemu nyina nchi mu brew si e wo Ghanatube so.
From that, a new national tracking poll by Global Info Analytics suggests that President Mahama's honeymoon with voters may be cooling off. His approval rating has dipped from 73% in July to 67% this September, while more than 2/3 of Ghanaians still back his leadership. Concerns are emerging, especially over governance, corruption, and living standards. Now, the poll also highlights shifting political loyalists, with both NDC and NPP seeing slight declines and more Ghanaians identifying as floating voters. This afternoon, we break down what these numbers really mean for the Ghana's political landscape. And my colleague, of course, Isaac Ofieje, lead data analyst, and also at the research desk, joins me for more details on this. You have been crunching the numbers.
Yes. In fact, this is the first survey that we've gotten with actually numbers attached to it. The first one we got was from Imani. That was more of a sentiment analysis using social media commentary, where they said that looking at what they were seeing, the president's approval rate was coming down and his honeymoon period was actually slumping. Now we have a sense of what that means in numbers or in numerical terms, thanks to Global Info Analytics. If you can look at this, line graph that tells you where the president started from in January of 2025, you can see the green line. That is the approval ratings for President John Dramani Mahama for his work done. And then also the green line is the disapproval rating. And if you see the light blue, the deep blue line is the approval rating, and you have the no opinion. So you see the green line, that is where we are putting much of our attention on. You can see it moving from just slightly above 35% now when he won power. By April, when the city was doing so well, became the best performing currency in the world, when there was anti-corruption fight, and then he started introducing, new initiative. Oral had come out with their report and all of that. His approval rating went up from below 40% to 66%. Then in July, when the city was still doing well, gold board bringing in a lot, and Ghana's economy was on a good trajectory, inflation was coming down significantly, it moved from 66 to 73%. Then when the city became, let's go back to the West, so when the city became the West performing currency and fuel prices, we understand, going up, what we are seeing in October, which the survey was done in the last, just September, right? What we are seeing is that President's approval rating has come down by 6 percentage points. Very significant. So once you see his approval ratings coming down, disapproval rating on the other hand is also going up marginally. But those who are saying that no opinion has also increased from 8 to 11%. What we know is that this is a survey that spoke to more than 9,000 people across the length and breadth of the country using mixed approach. So it tells you a national picture with a confidence level of about 99%, surety. So what we are saying is that the first poll or the first analysis we got from Imani, possibly Global Info Analytics, adding some form of numerical, picture or perspective to this whole thing. And what we are saying is that the president's approval rating has currently dropped by some 6 percentage points, which is very, very significant. I mean, we are saying that, well, his honeymoon period may be slumping at the moment.
I think that you're quite accurate with that, especially with that Imani pulse data that they brought out. This means that we're putting figures to it, and that's what Global Info Analytics nearly is doing. So we've got Executive Director of Global Info Analytics, Musa Dankwa, joining us via Zoom. Thank you for joining us. First of all, for the number of months and the percentage of the decrease, for a researcher, are you surprised, first of all, before we get into the details? Can you unmute if you can hear me?
All right. Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, clear. Thank you.
All right.
Out of 4, I am na make count. You see, John Dramani Mahama performance, are dropping from 73% to 67%. You see, Ushemua a 6% decrease. Are fallen by 6%. Out of 4, I am na make count. Where you just information about lande. NDC for catch a Missumidini in a bro, I will Ghana to 4. And some of the air cost be brave because John Dramani Mahama na memone also 4 years he on 1 year employee. Yes, the performance are dropping from 73% to 67%. And in some I deja Missumidini in a bro, I will Ghana to for my call 9 and 70 Ambra, I will Ghana to so.
As a researcher, nothing should surprise you. What we are seeing is a response to voters on a number of issues, which I think Kofi Adjei has illustrated in some way from his presentation. If you look at the cry over the Galamsey, it's having impact on him. If you look at the oral stagnation according to people, it may have impact on him. The CB performance may also have impact on what we are seeing in the at the moment. For me, nothing surprises me.
But for the sample size, you say that you're duly represented, especially rural and urban areas. For the sample size, you say that it's very well represented?
Yes, absolutely. This is a sample that was deployed across 83 constituencies in all the 16 regions, urban, rural, peri-urban. Everybody is covered in this sample.
Okay, well, so for, if you look at the sentiments that we actually recorded, for young people who seem to be dominating in terms of, and that's what Imani polls used. For young people, would you say that their projection in this, your research as well, makes meaning for all political parties? And what does it mean moving forward for them?
Look, the most profound data today is the proportion of young people who are voters. From this survey, they are about 78%. They decide who becomes the president. You must listen to them, you must hear them. If you ignore them, you'll be in the bushes.
In answering the question of nothing surprises a researcher, you highlighted a few things that you said may be affecting him, Galamsey and all of that. But for this particular percentage, the 6% that you're seeing in decrease, which specific points would you say were the most that affected him?
Look, we will not be able to ascribe any issue to this decline because we didn't ask them specifically what issues made you rate him low or high. That has to be somebody else work to go and do. We've given a broad brush of what we have seen, but we can't tell you exactly what is the main cause. But really, there has been a drop in the people who feel good about the economy. There has been a drop in those who think a corruption fight is going well. There has been a drop on those who say the country is in the right direction. So these are indicators that can conclusively say that these are the issues that are dragging the president down.
Do you see any cascading effect of voter apathy from 2024? And I ask this question because of the findings that suggest that lots of people, didn't want to share their sentiments. These voters, you say, it's still a representation of voter apathy?
I don't think so. It's too early to talk about voter apathy at this stage. People have to be engaged. We have to engage people in all the conversations, young and old. And once we engage them and we explain ourselves to them what we're doing, they will be fully engaged. But if we ignore them and brush aside their issues, then that will be a problem going forward.
I asked because you mentioned that it's too early. But I'm asking whether it is a cascading effect from 2024. Are these people still the same people? These are not new people showing voter apathy symptoms, because of course it's too early. But are these people who traveled from 2024?
Yes, mostly the same voters we're talking about.
Okay.
There hasn't been a big change in the numbers. The same people we're talking about here.
Okay, and the fight against corruption, you say 53%.
Yeah, you can see that there has been a decline. And it's probably, and my guess is that they haven't seen any move from the oral, stagnation in prosecution, and they are thinking probably nothing will change. And also the use of the what they call a pre-bargain agreement could really backfire on the government. You have to be really, really very careful as to how they apply this. People are thinking that they are patting themselves in the back and nothing will change. If that happens, they will be in gloom situation.
And so you say that if the government does not proceed by prosecuting people, it will still go further to affect them?
Absolutely, yes.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us today on the news. Well, the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission.
Odofo when a breaking news abeto dwa me so begin nyina bro e wo Ghanatube yesi. Nienti a John Dramani Mahama ne performance a drop from 73% to 67% ne say yesi. Corruption is some abe deja e wo John Dramani Mahama na memum mo amunim say omoba so no abronya mu na ade chema wontu mu nyina achecheche mu a yedi kwedu kesi e de abobo mu nyina yesi ni nyina so ka ho enti a John Dramani Mahama chese the performance no are dropping from 73% to 67%. After you see the fight against Galamsey, almost see ano ayedem papa e John Dramani Mahama na memum enti sanya manyama gitingiti we any other things e ka ho na John Dramani Mahama na memu no are dropping from 73% to 67%. Anyame na make count we are breaking news abeto dwa me so beginning na e wo Ghanatube for we and hear the reasons why John Dramani Mahama Jisia and say the job approval no are dropping from 73% to 67%. It is here and there I was say John Dramani Mahama ni NDC for omu kanyo omu Kenya omu not just omu yo omu nema yi and yes 2028 is just around the corner and sure na voters no omubuenfo omoma ntumi anto abana momodofo we na ensema ayedeja e o John Dramani Mahama na memum amiso begini na breaking news abetodua amiso bede brem e o Ghanatube from we fi say mo be like no ma subscribe no ma share no ma hit notification bell so ma say na be ya abrini abibia drop content say ya wo ja ne tempa no atwe no temodofo aha ana me de nsem nyina besi e o Ghanatube so makra mu nyina meda mu nyina se bebre